Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about calories in and calories out. The question is whether or not calories in and calories out, the concept of eating too much calories will lead to weight gain, is only thing you need to know, really. So calories are always the main driver for your weight loss and your weight gain. If you're in a calorie surplus, that typically leads to weight gain, often in the form of visceral fat. If you are in a calorie deficit, that usually leads to weight loss. So what I want to avoid is that you start to count every single calorie you're eating, because that can lead to a very unhealthy relationship to food. And most of Americans, especially if you're overweight or obese, already have a pretty unhealthy relationship to food. But I don't want you to swing from one unhealthy relationship of food into the other unhealthy relationship, becoming obsessive about calorie counting. That is also not healthy. But you should be conscious about what you're eating and should be conscious about the amount of energy that you're consuming. That doesn't necessarily include counting every single calorie, but you should have a very good overview of what you're eating and how much energy that contains for your weight loss journey. And we made also videos about that on this channel. While it is true that you can eat any foods, and as long as you stay under your caloric maintenance, you will lose weight, a better approach would be to change your diet to like a more low calorie foods that are nutritionally dense. One key, in my opinion, is a balanced diet approach, which means you should make sure that your body gets enough macronutrients and enough micronutrients and vitamins and antioxidants and fiber. Your overall nutrition approach is the important part. And not a single food you're eating will lead to more fat burn or will lead to a less healthy approach if it's not seen in your overall nutritional context. What is true is that there's many foods that are low calorie but very nutrition dense, and those are the foods that you should focus on. They're typically less processed or unprocessed whole foods, and the nutritional value does not change based on whether or not they're organic or they're grown in a better soil. There's a lot of misinformation on that as well. The nutritional value of food is much more dependent on the type of cultivar or variety of that food you grow. For example, the fruit that you eat, there are different varieties, and the nutritional content can change between those varieties, but not necessarily between the production system. And I'm a food production specialist, so I know a thing or two about those things. So while we want to reduce our intake to get to a calorie deficit to lose weight, we also need to focus on improving the quality of the food that we are eating. So often, your weight loss goes hand in hand with changing your nutrition. What exact type of protein source you choose, and what exact type of fiber source you choose, and what exact type of vitamin or antioxidant or fat or carbohydrate source you choose, that is where your taste buds and preferences come in. You need to eat the things that you like. And there's so many foods to choose from in this category. You should eat the ones that you like, because the aim is to stick with this for the rest of your life, right? Because otherwise you're going to bounce back. That is much more important than favoring, let's say, an apple over a banana just because someone told you bananas are bad. On a personal note, I want to say something. There is much talk about things like don't eat bread because it's going to spike your blood sugar. Don't eat fruits because they're going to spike your blood sugar. Or don't eat lectin-rich foods. Depending on who you follow, some people say eat only organic or drink apple cider vinegar. So there's a lot more of those very specific, way too specific ideas of how a healthy diet should look like. Some people think you're stupid, and you're not. Focusing on your whole nutrition approach, that is what you need to do. If you focus mostly on those low caloric, nutrient dense foods, and you create your healthy diet around that, and you have a balanced diet approach, that is better than 95% of Americans. That will help you to lose weight, that will help you to stick with the diet for the rest of your life. And that is much more important than only eating organic, or don't eat any lectins, or don't eat bread. That is just a bunch of BS, really. Calories in, calories out is the main concept to lose weight. It's the main driver to lose weight. is a caloric deficit. The nutritional quality of your foods will make a massive impact on your health. Often, over your weight loss journey, also your diet will have to change to a healthier diet. The key is to stick with the diet for the rest of your life. The key is not just the weight loss. The key is to stick with it so that you don't bounce back and don't have to do this again. And that is where restrictive diets often fail. I know you guys like the keto diet. The keto diet is the big thing at the moment. The carnivore diet is another thing that's coming. Those diets are restrictive. Some of them are not even healthy. And you shouldn't do it. You should be in a caloric deficit and focus on a balanced diet. That is the key to lose weight. And that is the key for you to also stick with it for the rest of your life. You can read more of this in my upcoming book, soon up for pre-order. And that's it from me for today. I see you soon.